on his way. Devil is on his way. Devil is on his way, motherfucker. Oh, the devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees. Devil is on his way. Fall to your knees. Devil gonna make you pay. Fall to your knees. Devil is on his way. Motherfucker, he's on his way.
Mountain Murders is an Appalachian true crime podcast with cases spanning the 14-state Appalachian region. Mountain Murders includes graphic content and explicit language not suitable for young listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey guys, welcome back to Mountain Murders. I'm Heather.
And I'm Dylan.
How's it going, birthday boy?
Chillaxing.
You just had a birthday this week.
Yeah, I did.
Did you have a good birthday?
It was incredible.
Yeah?
Dinner with my kids, dinner with my wife. How can it get any better?
I made you a German chocolate upside down cake.
Oh my God, it was the best.
It's so easy to make. It's delicious.
People was just standing over the pans at the oven, not even getting plates and just getting extra pieces and eating it with their hands.
Yeah, I saw that.
We all did it, though.
Stop spreading.
No, but you can do that amongst your own families.
Can you? Have you been following the Gannon Stauch case out of Colorado?
I missed it. I
If you're
can't
a
believe
true
it.
crime fan, you've probably heard the story. If not, I'll give you a brief rundown. It's not in our realm. I mean, it's Colorado. You know, we try to stick to Appalachian cases.
Yeah, but every
This
time
is so fascinating. I just will never understand people who hurt children.
I want to kill them.
11-year-old Gannon Stauch reportedly went on a bicycle ride to a friend's house and then disappeared. This was like back in January. Was never heard from again. Now, his stepmother has been kind of a point of interest, I guess, a person of interest in this story. Her story has changed quite a bit. They ended up finding this boy's body in Florida.
Are you kidding me?
From Colorado, yeah. So a leaked arrest report reveals that investigators think the stepmother, Letitia Stauch, killed her stepson, and that she made up some sort of crazy story about a rapist that had kidnapped him.
How would she know?
But while she's been in custody, she has told investigators many lies.
Anytime the details keep changing, especially in a short period of time, that just means you're a damn lie and you can't keep track of it. Usually.
Now, the stepmother of this 11-year-old allegedly killed the boy in his bedroom the day he was reported missing. And this is via the arrest report.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, the stepmother has told investigators a lot of lies during this. Originally, she claimed that the boy disappeared somewhere near their home on January 27th, that he was going to a friend's house, vanished. But the arrest report says that he was killed inside the home the afternoon he allegedly went missing. There's been physical evidence recovered from the residence and inside the boy's bedroom that supports a violent event occurred inside the house.
Well, that type of evidence typically doesn't lie.
Blood was found on and under his bed, on the walls, the bedroom carpet, the carpet pad. They believe that the stepmother used a knife or some other sharp instrument to kill the boy. And after his death, Letitia, the stepmother, allegedly took his body to the garbage, loaded him into the back of her Volkswagen Tiguan. It's one of those SUVs. And that she took his body in the car. The dad wasn't home at the time. He was on National Guard duty in Oklahoma. And that she somehow got her 17-year-old daughter to help purchase some carpet cleaner, trash bags. They dumped the body. And, yeah.
Wait, they drove the body to freaking Florida?
I believe so. And they found blood matches in the vehicle, on particle board. They're not exactly sure how they got his body to Florida or how it got moved there.
Well, I'm going to guess somebody drove it there, right? That's not something you drop off at FedEx.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. So the stepmother, Letitia, had told some people that she was held at gunpoint and raped by a man who then kidnapped her stepson. Like, that's one of the stories she told. She was arrested in Myrtle Beach, and I guess that's where she's originally from, in March, and was taken back to Colorado and charged with first-degree murder.
I'm going to guess that they got that right. I mean, it honestly sounds like she definitely, A, knows more about what actually happened than she's letting on, or B, that she really did do something to this
Such
poor
a
kid.
wild story. I'll just never understand. You know, we covered that Zara Baker case where the stepmother murders this poor little girl who had physical disabilities.
Yeah.
Horrifically murders her, like dismembers the little girl. Why would you do that? Like, if you don't like your stepkids, why don't you just A, get a divorce, B, say, hey, this isn't quite working out with this kid. Maybe we need to figure out like a different. I mean, I don't understand.
She was so mean, and before she even, like we on that episode we talked about, we think maybe she went too far with her abuse because she abused her daily.
Yeah, it's just horrible. These people are fucking terrible.
I just don't even know how you could come in every day and kick a dog, let alone a poor little kid, a sweet little beautiful kid with their tiny little voices.
An 11-year-old boy. I mean, he's still a small kid.
That's just, I don't get it.
I don't understand.
It's hard to wrap my mind around even the mentality.
Child killers
Yes.
deserve a special kind of punishment.
Yeah, I think they should be, if it's proved beyond a shadow of a doubt through forensics, DNA, any of that, I say you drag them out in front of the courthouse that day and shoot them. I'm not even kidding. And that might be too nice. Maybe we all get to have maybe a death of 1,000 cuts. Fuck those people.
Oh.
Yeah, everybody gets to go make a little slice on the damn person until they bleed out after a week and a half.
You know, I have mixed feelings about capital punishment and the death penalty. You know, I have mixed feelings about it. But when I hear stories of child killers, I feel like they should bring back public executions.
I do too. My only mixed feelings with capital punishment personally is if you get an innocent person called up.
Well, yeah, that's really kind of my thing with it.
Other than that, if I could make that never happen, or again, these cases with all the forensics and all the technology nowadays that can be proven either you or one other person in 7 billion or whatever did it, then fuck you. I mean, really. And you don't get to lay on death row for no 20 years either. You get a set 6 months, a couple other appellate courts go over the case, make sure everything's cool, triple check the science, fucking kill you.
I know, I feel like this is a story for another time, Dylan. Are you ready to get into our case today?
I am. I want to hit somebody that hurts a kid. I want to hurt them.
Our last episode, we did have some technical difficulties, and I'm just going to put this out there. Dylan and I are not audio engineers by any stretch.
This is, I'm sure you guys can tell, this is total DIY, do it yourself, and we don't bring in other services. We don't reach out. It's just we fumble through it.
Yeah, so we had a little technical difficulty, and I'm going to say we're kind of fucking stupid, Dylan.
Well,
when it comes to this stuff, we're both just like, "Ugh," and then I get really aggravated. I have no patience. You're more patient than I am. I usually end up like screaming at you and storming off.
Right.
And then you try to fix it, and you're more patient about like watching videos and like researching the problems.
I can
where I'm just
figure it
like,
out.
we're going to throw this piece of shit out in the yard. So yeah, I apologize. Our Barry Winchell episode, the Don't Ask, Don't Tell episode, we were having some audio issues, like the volume for some reason. We just couldn't seem to get it to like be louder. So we did have some folks reach out and say, hey, we love your podcast. We're trying to listen. It's not quite as loud as it should be. We're having a hard time hearing it. So we want to apologize for that. Hopefully this week we're back and better than ever. High five, Dylan.
Hope we sound better.
Yeah.
And we'll probably pull that episode and get rid of that garbage.
Yeah, we'll probably just have to re-record the episode.
We will.
Because it's a great case.
It is a great case.
Some true crime stories are hard to digest, especially when those cases involve leaders in the religious community, morally upright folks who are tasked with teaching us how to live a good life. When Patti Jo Pulley went missing, her church family was shaken, or shooketh, as our girls would say.
Now, this is a crazy case. I think this is a crazy story.
Patti was not the kind of woman you'd ever imagine to disappear on her own or even be the victim of a crime. How could this youth minister's wife have enemies? Everyone thought Patti was a really good person. Patti Jo Riddick was born July 31st, 1961 in Chowan County, North Carolina. She came from a good, simple family. Patti might be considered the favorite child because she was smart, beautiful, and talented. She was also the baby of the family with an older brother and sister, and they were significantly older.
And that's always an interesting dynamic in families, I think.
Her parents were in their 30s when she was born, so it sounds like she was not exactly like the planned child, but more like a surprise, a pleasant surprise.
Oh, yeah, maybe so.
And because her parents were a little older and she had siblings who were well into their teens by the time she was born, of course, she's going to be doted on.
I think those kids are definitely extra babied, if you will. Even their brothers and sisters, they're adults, older teens or adults. And I think everybody's like, oh, a baby. Who doesn't want to squeeze the baby?
Right. And there is something, I always find birth order interesting because, we'll talk, like, people will talk about birth order and personality traits. And I think there is something to that.
Oh, there definitely is.
And because I have known many who come from big families and they're the baby, and it seems like they are treated drastically different from the other kids, especially if they're like born later in life to older parents and everyone else is kind of already grown up. They're like super spoiled.
Well, I think there's that one stands out, and then you have the middle child that stands out. You can almost tell when someone was a middle child. And you have the only child.
What I think is, I think the only child,
That's what you was.
I know. Well, you have 3 kids.
Yes.
We're getting off on a tangent a little bit, but do you see birth order, like some of the personality traits and such in that birth order, like the oldest, the middle, and the youngest?
Oh, well, yeah, definitely. I definitely see the middle child thing play out because with my oldest middle daughter, Willow, her brother always got to do everything first. He was the oldest, blah, blah, blah.
And he's a very responsible, mature kid.
And then
I say kid, I mean, he's a man now, he's grown, but he just has been very responsible, very mature.
Right.
Has a really, level head, an interesting way of approaching. I mean, he's got a very, responsible way of approaching life.
Right. So he got to do all the stuff first, and the older and the...
And he's the son.
And he's the son, and he gets to maybe a little more, freedom and things like that because he is older. And then she has her younger sister, who was the baby.
The baby.
And who played that up till she was damn near 10 years old.
Dude, she's still playing it up.
So, yeah, definitely saw at least the middle child thing very up close and personal with my own children.
Of, stamping your feet and, pay attention to me.
Well, yeah.
It's always Marsha, Marsha, Marsha.
Well, that's what happens. They kind of feel ignored to a certain degree, I think, on things.
So here Patti is, the baby of the family, doted upon, beautiful, bright, smart. I mean, she's just like the apple of her parents' eye. And they live by a certain code. They're a pretty strict Christian family. They have a very firm understanding of right and wrong. So as a child, Patti is active in church activities. The Riddicks were members of the Sandy Creek Baptist Church. And Patti was super involved in church activities throughout her youth. In high school, Patti was popular. She participated in creative writing, journalism. She was the co-editor of her high school newspaper. She was an honors student, excelling academically, but was also a championship softball player. And she found time outside of school to participate in singing and dance lessons.
Well, see, you can be like, oh, she was baby, this and that when she was younger, but there's no doubt she's driven. And, that's a lot of hard work to keep all that going. Well, it sounds
like the doting and she's the baby, that her family really fostered this atmosphere for her to thrive.
Right, like an enormous support base.
Yes.
And she wasn't afraid to go all out.
Upon graduating in 1979, Patti attended Meredith College in Raleigh. Are you familiar with Meredith College?
No, girl, you always shame me with the college stuff. Me and my friends didn't do the college thing.
Meredith, and I'm assuming still is, I am not sure, correct me if I'm wrong, you can at me, folks. Meredith, up until maybe recently, has been an all-women's college.
Yeah, I believe you're right on that.
I had a couple of girlfriends from high school that went to Meredith, and it was an all-girls school, which I guess has the pros and cons.
Still fairly strict, maybe?
A little bit, but they do have a really good, music program.
Oh, okay.
And Patti wanted to pursue her love of music. She was a first-generation college student, and her parents were extremely proud of her.
Well, that's a big accomplishment.
In the fall of 1980, Patti and a few other female students from Meredith College attended a Sunday school class at the United Methodist Church in Raleigh. And that's where she met a guy named Rick Pulley. Now, Rick